Hey. So, earlier this week I was thinking, I've had this channel for a while. I've talked about so many games and movies and, music, all kinds of things. I've done all kinds of analyses and research videos. But I was thinking, and one thing I have not done on the channel yet is just a regular old, gameplay video. And I think I'm going to do more of those because I like to just chill out and play games sometimes. And now, apparently, this game was made by the Abzu and Journey people, I think, if memory serves. All I can say is I hope I don't have to be, good at skateboard games to be good at this one. Really liking the soundtrack so far, though. Now, this game is new. It came out, a couple of days ago. For right now, it seems like circle and square, or square and X are the only buttons that do anything. Oh, shit. Look at that, solving puzzles on accident. That's what happens when you grow up with Zelda. It's kind of funny how natural of an inclination it is in video games to just, collect shit. I feel like even in the first games I ever played, Ty the Tasmanian Tiger and Jak and Daxter, it was still a natural urge for me to just grab whatever was around. Nah, man, whatever's up here. Doesn't seem like anything. But I got up here, though. With the rising production costs of video games and the, increasingly dismal opportunities for, profit for big budget games, I wonder if we are going to start seeing more games like this, more like indie games of this scale. I think a lot of gamers would kind of pitch a fit about that. That is... that is stupid pretty. Oh shit. Bro wandered into this game from Dark Souls 3. Even when I try to get away, I can't. I just lost a bunch at Demon Souls before I played this. On the off chance that anybody watching this video wonders why I don't really post gameplay videos like this, and I mostly just talk about games, analyze them, and talk about them in the broader context of art, it is for two reasons. One, I stumble over words a lot. I have a lot of vocal tics. Whenever I freeform a video, I end up having to cut them out a lot, and it takes a lot of time, But see, right there, I said, that's a vocal tic that I have. But if I didn't do it, the alternative would be that my listener... Oh, I see what I'm supposed to do. It's a half pipe. If I didn't do it that way... Oh, that is sweet. If I didn't do it that way, the alternative is that my viewer would have to sit around hearing me say a bunch of nothing. How do I interact with this guy? Oh, okay. Oh, cool. The Wraith, that's the name of your character. But yeah, one thing that you'll find people say a lot when it comes to online content is that you can't teach personality, and that is very, very true. All the people that I like to watch, what makes them so compulsively watchable is their personalities and, how off the cuff they are with shit. You cannot teach what people like that have. The ability to just, spontaneously be funny. I am much better off, I think, when I've had a chance to write a script and do some research and tell people out some actual interesting things. That's what I'm good at. The problem with that kind of content for me on this channel is that that kind of stuff takes a while to do, right? Not even just the research-based videos, right, which are their own kind of animal, because yes, that research takes a while. But also just anything that I do. Even if it's not a research video, those analysis videos, they still take a while to put together. Because there's research involved in them. There's a lot of careful thought that goes into how I want to organize those ideas. It all takes a while. And I've been trying to figure out ways to make certain things take less time. Because the fact of the matter is, this channel, as much as it has grown, and all of you who are watching right now, and who have watched, I appreciate you so very much. So as much as this channel has grown in the past year, I've still got a ways to go. So, as we all know, the algorithm doesn't necessarily favor, one video a month, which if I'm lucky, that's what I put out. because again, all the content I've been making is really time consuming. So I think what I might start doing is just post videos, like gameplay videos, do some on-the-spot analysis and talk about the things I like, the things it reminds me of. A lot of these smaller games that are focused more on the visual and aesthetic side of things, you know, where the story is told more through visuals. Games like that, a lot of times you're not going to have a heads-up display, which makes sense because you're focused on the overall affect of everything. That is really pretty. It's so funny. Just the other day I was thinking about, you know, why aren't there any games where you like surf around on a sword and that's your weapon? The amount of ideas over the years that I've had that just then ended up in some game that blew the fuck up and is so popular that there's just no way in the world that anybody would ever think that I came up with that idea independently. For example, a big black portal called The Void. I used to write a lot of stories, fantasy stories as a kid that were inspired by lots of my favorite stuff. So early on that was, you know, Bionicle and Kingdom Hearts. But I had a big black purple portal that led to a realm of darkness that I called the Ultimate Void. But you want to know who did that? And I would now get sued if I had that in my game or in my story, whatever I were to put out. You want to know who did that? Super Paper Mario. Which, to be fair, if it had to be any game, it's one of my favorite games of all time, so I guess I can't be too mad. But man, when I played that and I was like 12 years old, I was like, come on. I have no idea where I'm supposed to go. Can you all tell? Okay, so you can grind on the moving chains, but not the static ones. Oh, okay. Would you look at that? 10 times cool combo. Guess I'm not so bad at this game after all, huh? See, I'm going to tell you right now, if games like this are what become popular in the industry, and like this is the direction, there's a lot of gamers that just would be mad. What is this artsy-fartsy nonsense? I want my AAA graphics! I'm not ripping on AAA graphics. I like AAA graphics. I put 100 fucking hours into Assassin's Creed Shadows. One thing that I got really into over the summer was Sonic the Hedgehog. I played a couple Sonic games when I was a kid. I played like Sonic Rush and Heroes a little bit, and that was it. But this past summer, I got really into 3 Sonic games mainly. Colors, which I got back around Christmas, Generations, and Frontiers. All 3 of which I 100%ed because all 3 of which I really enjoyed. I know people have mixed feelings about Unleashed, but I got it. Really, I want to hit all the like major Sonic games. Because I have Heroes in my collection, I have Adventure in my collection, I have Shadow Generations, which I haven't played yet. I played Sonic Origins, I've played Sonic 1 and 2, the originals. So there's like a few major Sonic games left that I'd like to hit. I think it's a very specific type of person that Sonic games appeal to. Like, not every piece of art, piece of media that gets created has to appeal to everyone, or even should. If everybody tried to appeal to everyone, then everything would ultimately end up being the same. But the reason I'm even bringing up Sonic at all is because the way this game flows reminds me a little bit of it. See, games like this, for me, are touch and go, and I can imagine that they're touch and go for a lot of people. I am a very goal-oriented person. In life and in games, I like to have a checklist of shit to do. Which is why, in spite of, you know, the valid criticisms that get made, yeah, I still do like the Ubisoft formula games, okay? I know I'm going to lose some of you with that statement, but I can't help it, alright? I enjoyed Outlaws. I really did. I genuinely did. That doesn't preclude me, though, from enjoying games like this. Or games that people agree are good. I don't know. I already know. You have bad taste. What even is taste, dude? You're qualified to judge my taste? How's that? Where are your credentials? Let me see them, please. The taste police. The chops cops. The bud... I don't know. I thought there was a third one out there, but I'm just gonna move past it. Well, where's the door that I opened? Oh, there it is. Let's see what we got. Okay, so I'm starting to think maybe the goal of this game is to restore the world. Restore it to its watery glory. You ever feel like you're experiencing a piece of art that you're just like too dumb to appreciate? Well, I guess we now know like the general theme of the game, which appears to be restore the desert to its apparently aqueous glory. So I guess the places where I should be going are places where there's no water yet. Extremely pretty game though. I was thinking that this was going to be like an action game, but there's been no fighting so far. Which, you know, doesn't necessarily mean anything. I mean, in Concrete Genie, you don't fight until, you know, the second half of the game, when it turns into a completely different game. Same as Humanity. Actually, if this game was like that, it would be right in line with those other indie games that I've played. God, Humanity's so good. If y'all haven't played Humanity, you should. I mean, my assumption... Jeez, didn't mean to hit you with the Mr. Krabs there. My assumption was that anywhere that there's not water, I should be looking for the thing to activate the water. The controls of this game are just super smooth. Okay, alright. Get your fucking hands off me. It's for the Tony Hawk gamers, dude. I can't do this shit. Oh, look at that. I did it. Oh, damn. I smashed that high score. Look at me. See, that's how you know when it's a good game, is if the game makes you feel like you're good at it. You might think to yourself, well, by that metric, that means Dark Souls sucks. Yes. Yes, Dark Souls is terrible. I really like a good Souls-like. One might even be inclined to say that I love them. And the worst part of it is the controls in this game are really good, so if I fall, I can't blame anybody but myself. A gamer's ultimate kryptonite, taking accountability. The great James Rolfe has said many times that control is a hard thing to explain with a game, because unless you play the game, you don't really understand. It's not the type of thing you could really convey through explanation. But man, the control in this game is, I mean, it legitimately is some of the smoothest I've ever seen. Get it? Because it's Sword of the Sea, so you're looking for the, yeah, there we, oh, shit. It's Ghost Runner, dude. Okay, that's actually semi-terrifying. About 15 years ago, well, you know what? No, even before that, people realized that because gaming was such an interactive medium, you could use it to tell really interesting stories that were based almost entirely on visuals and gameplay without ever really even needing to do, you know, lore dumps or cutscenes or any of that stuff. It's part of why people like Souls games so much, you know. A lot of the lore, not like a lot of the personality of the games, right? The atmosphere. Because even if you're somebody who doesn't get super into the lore, like me, I care a little. Like, I'll read item descriptions, but I'm not gonna, you know, make a giant flow chart and all kinds of stuff and be like Charlie Day in that one episode Always Sunny, trying to figure it all out. But even if you don't get real heavy into the lore, you can still appreciate like the atmosphere of the game, the world it takes place in, and come up with your like own fun little theories about what's going on with it. You know, the visuals tell a story in and of themselves, and that is one thing I think that the gaming medium is uniquely very good at. But yeah, if any of you have ever seen the movie Mad God, that is a movie with pretty much no dialogue. The story is told entirely visually. Of course, calling it a story is being a little generous, since it's more a series of loosely related horrifying vignettes than anything. There's not really much of a story, and if there is, it's only one that you could invent in your imagination, but that's okay, because the point of that movie isn't really to tell a narrative in the conventional sense. It's more to show you a bunch of images that sort of connect and have you draw your own kind of conclusions about it. And that's what a lot of these visual narrative games, they present you with some information and then they let you kind of play around in the world on your own. See, but the difference is that you are able to explore the world at your own pace. Mad God is the singular vision of a singular person presented and curated as such for you to consume in one way for everybody. And there is something to be said about the singularity of a person's artistic vision, right? But it's also very cool for somebody to kind of give you just the full breadth of their creativity and say, here, go wild. And I think that's what's really cool about games as an art form.